I'm Ellen. I'm the research and evaluation lead for the Housing Festival team. And yeah, we've been exploring this idea of launching a community of practice for a number of years. So it's really exciting to have got to this kind of place where we've been in a position to launch it with Building Better. Just to start with, just a little bit on the kind of origins. This community of practice probably isn't a familiar term. So just to explain where that came from as an idea, because that certainly wasn't ours. It came from a sort of academic context back in the early 90s. Two researchers, anthropologist Jean Love and educational psychologist Etienne Wenger, were doing a piece of observational work looking at the way that people learn. And what they observed is actually the most effective way that people learn is not in a sort of traditional classroom environment. It's not reading a report or even engaging with sort of visual media content, but actually in dialogue, in interaction with a social group. That was the way that people most effectively learned, and particularly in a context where they are working and interacting with people that have a shared craft or a shared profession or area of interest, somewhere where the whole group is really motivated and driven to improve their own practice by working regularly together. So that's where it's come from. In fact, the community of practice model has been adopted by a number of industries. The NHS use it. It's been used in an educational context to get teachers together working to understand how they individually work and to improve their practice, and also in the technology industry. So it's a model that's been adopted since the 1990s. Love and Wenger continue to publish work in this area. They continue to provide consultancy. So it's an ongoing notion and something that's developing and evolving. So that's where it's come from. And this, again, comes from the work of those two academics, really in identifying what distinguishes a community of practice from any other kind of social network. And they've identified these three core features. A domain, that sense that actually that learning really happens when there's an agreement amongst the members about what they're really there to focus on pressing into and improving. So there's got to be something that members of that group can collectively, A, identify with, and B, that they really care about. So that's their kind of area of specialism or interest. That's where they agree they want to focus and make progress. B, this idea of community, the sense that actually it's people that are really at the heart of system change, that innovation is a social process. It's not purely a sort of a technological process, it's a social phenomenon. And that actually the community of practice is an opportunity to bring together, to gather together people that are committed to making that progress. And it's beyond the people part, it's beyond that sort of gathering. It's about how do you create a culture of collaboration where people freely want to give and share their experiences. And ultimately, lots of the sort of value and impact of the community of practice will come out of the relationships that develop between members and opportunities to work together going forwards. And the practice, that third element there, is going back to that, the work that was done, that actually the learning is most effective when people are actually, that they are practitioners, they are working in a shared area of endeavour, and therefore they have similar challenges, they have experiences that they can share that are relevant to other members of the group, and that experience is gained through action because they are practitioners. I got a small quote here from Wenger just explaining that. So members interact regularly to help each other and make progress together in ways that they could not do alone. They work on shared problems, they create documents, they benchmark their practices, and they help each other through difficult times or to take advantage of opportunities. So that's a little bit about the background. And then I'll just move on to talk about what does that mean for the Building Better community of practice that we have just launched. So this is what we have decided upon as being our domain for the new community of practice, which suggested that our collective passion is to drive systemic change in the UK housing sector by leveraging innovation to unlock an uptick in the supply of high quality, energy efficient, social and affordable homes. I think we all recognise that housing is a much bigger story. It's obviously very complex, and we want to be part of the story of delivering 1.5 million homes and we want to be part of the story of decarbonising the built environment. But actually, for this community practice, it's helpful to really focus on a very specific area of that challenge. And so, yes, we're focusing on social and affordable homes. We're focusing on the UK housing market, and also on this piece around leveraging innovations. We recognise that not everybody within our industry is pressing into innovation. And some people still are believing that we're waiting for more funding, for example, to continue doing the way things that we've always done them. And actually, we really want this to be a group of people that really want to press into innovation, be that in technology, but also in the ways that we work, the ways that we unlock land, the ways that we bring new development models and finance forward. So that covers the whole kind of piece. It's not purely about technology, but it's a real commitment to doing things differently. So our community opening up membership, I guess, quite widely to all professionals working in the social and affordable housing delivery ecosystem, we called it. But as I said, there's a recognition it's beyond that membership ask. There's a piece around how do we create that space and that culture in which people want to collaborate, and how do we support the development of those relationships going forward. And our practice, it's simply really the shared endeavour for this group is commissioning, delivering, enabling and supporting the delivery of social and affordable homes through innovation. We've captured that because we want to communicate the sort of purposeful nature of the community practice, and we want people to be joining that are committed to that same purposeful mission. We've captured that in a vision and mission statement that we encourage people when they're joining up to think, is this for me? Is this what I'm behind? So we've said that the Building Better community practice exists to leverage innovation to unlock an uptick in the supply of new social and affordable homes across the UK. And we are basically encouraging anybody that is actively working in that space and who's willing to participate to sharing their insights, their expertise and best practice with a view to making a positive difference across the whole piece. And because everybody that will be involved will be practicing, everybody will be gaining experience, they will have expertise, albeit in slightly different fields, but they will all be coming across things that they'll be learning. And we want to create through the community practice space for a sort of an honest conversation about, well, what works, what doesn't, what we're going to do next time. And a lot of that will be through the production of research and resources that can be used by other members, with a view that we're all iterating on this journey and driving progress forward together. So what can we actually expect, perhaps as a new member of the community of practice? If you've been to the Building Better website, you'll see we do have an events page, and events is absolutely part of what the community practice will do. You'll see we've got a number of events already listed, and we'll be hosting or co-hosting, facilitating or advertising a series of events, and they will vary between online and in-person discussions, roundtables, webinars, site visits. They'll be different in nature. But I guess there's sort of two proviso really about events, because we don't want this to just be another event platform. And we're not an event organisation, and that's not what the community of practice is for. So two provisos around events. One, that there's a recognition when events do occur that there really are opportunities for that community building, so that we're creating opportunities for people to be interacting, to be learning from one another. So we're going to be avoiding events whereby it might just be a slideshow or a PowerPoint and that's it, and everybody goes away. This is not a sort of event that you might sit and watch something whilst you eat your lunch and then you're gone. We really want this to be an opportunity to create a space for people to be having those conversations about what they're doing in practice. So there's something about the nature of the events themselves. And secondly, we don't want to just be doing very discrete events in lots of different areas. We think we're going to focus probably on a yearly basis on a number of key themes for that particular year. And we will work out what those themes are in conversation with the advisory board and with the members of the community. so that we can really use those events to start and build specific conversations that make progress. For example, one of the events that we've got coming up that's on the website around demountable housing and temporary accommodation, we're deliberately framing that event around the development of a toolkit so that there's a specific process off the back of that event to gather people around producing something that's really useful. So the idea of those themes really is to create space for an ongoing dialogue to make progress within a particular theme. And I guess that segues really into this other part around actually the community practice is about creating and sharing knowledge assets. We've got space on the website for what we're calling solutions, and we've also got a space for like voices. So this is an opportunity for members to share either things that they've already produced or found relevant, and if they've just launched a new report or a white paper that speaks into this particular topic, we can either host it or we can signpost to it from the website. And that can either be on the public area of the website or specifically just within the members area. We've always got that choice to make useful material available. So if you've got something to share or you want to do a thought leadership piece or a blog, we're going to be encouraging everybody that's a member to get involved in that way. And then thirdly, within the members area, we've got a new facility for member profiles. So people can have their profiles available within the members area as a way of sort of showing their kind of commitment to this mission and vision, to see who else is within that space and connect with other members. There's a message board so that people can initiate or contribute to discussions and highlight opportunities to other members. And we will certainly be monitoring that chat ourselves and can use that to follow up on a particular theme or connect people with other individuals within the community of practice, etc. Yeah, we really want it to be a way of using that sort of technology and that online space to make connections. So what about how to actually join? Membership is free. We want anybody to be able to join. There are a couple of steps, I guess, to joining up as a member. Firstly, we've got a new membership questionnaire, really just so we can establish, for a start, where people are based in terms of if we're organising in-person events. It's really helpful to know where people are, but also what they might expect to give to the community practice, whether they've got themes or topics that are of particular relevance to them, things that they want to be talking about, case studies that they want to share, or what it is that they would really value out of the community practice. So that questionnaire is a way for us to establish, the kind of ask and offer of the community practice for new members that are coming in. So we can send you the link and we will pop it in the chat of this call, the link to that questionnaire. And then once you've completed that, we will send you the link to register and create a profile on the members area of the website. You can see my little example there on the screen. And it's a very simple process just to create your profile. And you can choose how much you want to share in terms of your privacy settings within that profile space.